The federal government could be on the verge of partially shutting down. And less than a week before Christmas and Hanukkah, workers at Amazon facilities across the country are going on strike. Good morning. I'm Corva Coleman from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. The federal government may partially shut down late tomorrow night. That's because a bipartisan funding bill has been thrown out at the very last minute. Yesterday, President-elect Trump threatened every Republican lawmaker who supported it with a primary challenge. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries is furious.
House Republicans have been ordered to shut down the government and hurt everyday Americans all across this country.
Republicans were also hammered online by Trump ally and billionaire Elon Musk. They say the bill's laden with too much money for Democratic interests. But the spending bill's failure means there is no additional money to help cope with natural disasters, such as hurricanes, or desperately needed aid for American farmers. The Teamsters Union says it's launching strikes this morning at Amazon facilities across the country. The union claims the retailer has failed to bargain over a new contract. NPR's Andrea Hsu reports the strikes come less than a week before Christmas and Hanukkah.
The Teamsters say a mix of workers, including pickers and packers and third-party delivery drivers, will be picketing 7 Amazon facilities in and around Los Angeles, San Francisco, Atlanta, Chicago, and New York City. Additionally, more pickets could form at other Amazon facilities where workers have not yet authorized strikes. Patricia Campos Medina, executive director of the Worker Institute at Cornell, says any disruption at this time of year could be damaging to the company.
It is the holiday season. People are expecting deliveries. This is the moment that the workers have influence over the supply chain.
For its part, Amazon disputes the Teamsters' claim that it represents thousands of their workers. Andrea Hsu, NPR News.
The man accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson will appear in a courtroom in central Pennsylvania today. New York prosecutors want to extradite Luigi Mangione to face murder charges, but he also faces weapons charges in Pennsylvania. In Syria, the first domestic flight since the fall of former President Bashar al-Assad departed Damascus yesterday. NPR's Hadil al-Shalchi reports it's just one way the new leadership is trying to prove it can get Syria back up and running.
The commercial Syrian air flight landed in Aleppo airport an hour behind schedule, but Enes Rustum, the man appointed to oversee the airport, said that it was, quote, a big accomplishment towards rebuilding the country. There was no word of when international flights would resume, but Rustum said Syria welcomed flights from all countries to start coming back. ATMs and electronic payment services are also now back online in Syria. The group currently in charge of running Syria is Hayat Tahrir Sham, or HTS, and faces a massive challenge. It needs to reunite a very diverse Syria and bring back state institutions that have been crippled by years of sanctions and corruption. Hadil al-Shalchi, NPR News, Damascus.
A leading human rights group accuses Israel of deliberately depriving Palestinians in Gaza of water. Human Rights Watch is calling on countries around the world to pressure Israel to abide by international law. NPR's Michelle Kellerman reports that Israel denies the charges, calling them appalling lies and blood libel.
In a lengthy report, Human Rights Watch describes how Israel, in its words, decimated the healthcare system in Gaza and badly damaged the water and sanitation infrastructure in the 14-month war. The group studied satellite imagery as well as videos of Israeli soldiers demolishing a key water reservoir, says Lama Faki, director of the Middle East Division at Human Rights Watch.
What we have found is that the Israeli government is intentionally killing Palestinians in Gaza by denying them the water that they need to survive.
She says this may amount to acts of genocide. Israel has rejected such accusations and says it's in a war against Hamas in Gaza and not its residents. Michelle Kellerman, NPR News, Tel Aviv.
A court in France has convicted a man of drugging his former wife and inviting at least 50 men to rape her over the course of a decade. The court sentenced Dominique Pellicot to the maximum 20 years in prison. Another 47 men were also convicted of rape and 4 others on related charges. They have also been sentenced. A new report from the National Academies on the health effects of alcohol consumption finds it is linked to a lower risk of heart disease. NPR's Allison Aubrey reports the finding will be used to shape new guidelines on drinking alcohol.
Moderate alcohol consumption was defined as up to 1 drink a day for women, 2 for men. Committee Chair Dr. Ned Kalange of the Colorado School of Public Health says they reviewed all the evidence and found that compared to never consuming alcohol, moderate consumption was associated with a lower risk of heart attacks and strokes.
We did find that moderate drinking is related to a lower risk of heart disease death.
But they found moderate consumption was linked to a higher risk of breast cancer. Researchers say the evidence is far from perfect. Some people don't estimate their drinking accurately, and there's varying definitions of moderate drinking. Allison Aubrey, NPR News.
I'm Corva Coleman, NPR News.